Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 19th day of 21-day meditation program, which we have been running now for a weekly session where we have 3 sessions in a week. I hope everybody is sitting comfortably for today's session. We will just start the presentation in a bit. So in today's session, we are going to be in a little bit more detail on the Swadhisthana chakra. We will also see a different kind of mantras, as well as go into a little bit more detail on the deities that preside the Swadhisthana chakra. Next slide, please. Before we start, let's quickly take a bandhan and then do a couple of minutes of meditation like we usually do when we start these sessions. So as usual, doing the bandhan, the left going up and the right rotating. Above your head, 1 knot. The left hand stationary, the right hand rotatory. 2 knots. Now we will do the 3 knots. Now let's take the bandhan where we go all the way above our head and back. Seven times. Now let's sit comfortably. You can choose to keep your eyes open or closed. After today's day of work or whatever we have had to do, let's just rest our heart a little bit. Let's try and concentrate on our heartbeat and our breathing rhythm. Let's deliberately slow it down a little bit, almost as though you're going to stop breathing. When you do, then you slowly make sure your hands are all opened up, palm facing up on your lap. And when you start slowing down your breathing rhythm, you will find that your heartbeat also slows down. Now slowly bring the attention all the way to on the top of your head or the crown of your head, the Sahasrara chakra. If you are getting any thoughts, just keep telling the thoughts, not this, not this, not this. Once you get your attention on the top of your head, then start increasing your breathing rhythm in the sense that take longer and bigger breaths, but still keep the same concentration, or rather your attention, on the Sahasrara chakra. Let us do a left side clearance. Keep your left hand open, palm up, your right hand towards the earth, or if you're sitting on the ground, on the earth, palm facing down. Let us request. Now we know we can say either Mother or we can say Shri Mataji. Whatever is convenient for you, you can say Mother, Shri Mataji. Please remove away all the negativities from my left side to the earth or the Dharti Tattva. Now slowly bring back your hand, your right hand back to your lap. And now we will clear the right hand side. So right hand, palm facing up, left hand behind your ear, facing the sky. Keep your attention on the Sahasrara chakra. Now we will say Mother or Shri Mataji. Please remove away all our negativities from the right hand side to the Akash Tattva or the sky element. Keep your attention on the Sahasrara. Now slowly bring back your left hand and bring up your right hand, palm facing up towards at the level of your heart. And now, keeping your attention on the Sahasrara chakra, from your heart, make this prayer or earnest request. Mother or Shri Mataji, kindly balance me. Let me feel the cool breeze of the all-pervading path. Now slowly you can open up your hands, relax, keep your palms open up. Now let's go on to the next slide. Okay, so now we all know that we are dealing with the Swadhisthana chakra. This is just a little bit of a recap so that there is a little bit of continuity. As we all know now that the Swadhisthana chakra is responsible for our creativity. It's there in the Arctic plexus. We know the positions of where we can feel this chakra in our hands, our legs, as well as our spinal cord. The next slide, please. So it is important to understand that once the Kundalini is awakened in the sacrum bone, the first thing that the Kundalini energy does is it hits the Nadi chakra. And then after it hits the Nadi chakra, it spreads through the void. That means the green circle that you can see. And after that, it comes back and enlightens the Swadhisthana chakra. And from the Swadhisthana chakra, then it further again goes back to the Nadi chakra. Then, of course, the Anahata chakra, the Vishuddhi chakra, and Agya chakra, and the Sahasrara chakra. So this is important to understand because when we are learning more about the Swadhisthana chakra, there is a direct correlation or the universal relationship between the void, the Nadi chakra, and the Swadhisthana chakra. So therefore, from a perspective of whether you're feeling any sensation in your void, or if you're feeling any tingling or pricking sensation in your void, then in that case scenario, you'd have to clear both your Swadhisthana as well as your Nadi chakra. So this understanding will also help us in terms of, let's say, for example, if you look at the locations where the Swadhisthana chakra are, they are on the top of our legs, our pubic bone, as well as our thumb and our whole legs and feet. So if there are any issues that crop up in this, then we have to clear the Swadhisthana chakra. But also we will have to do a little bit of clearance of the void and the Nadi chakra. That is the only way that you increase the efficacy of cleansing this chakra. Next slide, please. We also know that the Swadhisthana chakra is primarily responsible for making sure that we have thoughtless awareness, because we know this is like the seat of the attention. And we also know from all the different sessions that we have had that thoughtless awareness is the only way to meditate. If you cannot achieve the thoughtless awareness, then it becomes very difficult to kind of meditate, because then your attention is distributed, is fragmented. And also the silence that you get between two different thoughts, that gap needs to be elongated enough so that a meditative session is long enough for your whole body to rest down and for your energy to spread all over your body. So if you look at Swadhisthana chakra affirmations that we have already done before, the left, this is again a little bit of a revision, because it is imperative to understand the difference between affirmations and deity and mantras. So affirmations are said when you want to highlight the left and the right. So if you look at all the left side affirmations, it's all about requesting for attributes that you should have as, somebody who is meditating or somebody who is practicing SahajaYoga. The right side affirmations are all very action oriented, where you are trying to tell yourself that you are not necessarily doing those actions, but it's not like a lip service. It's not something that you just say and you feel it. These are all things that you actually feel on your Kundalini by the way of vibrations. So going further in this whole session, the only thing that you need to keep bearing in mind is, if you ever have any doubt, or if you have any self-doubt as well, then the best thing or the best scenario is to do it as an experiment. say the same affirmations without thinking about it too much, or just for the, just like you're saying something. Then go back into a meditative state where you have your attention placed on your Sahasrara chakra. And then when you say these affirmations, you will actually feel the vibrations feel on the respective hands. And you can also test it out in your terms of your right side and your left side. And you can see the variance to see which side is stronger and which side needs a little bit more attention. So that is in terms of affirmations. And what this whole session is all about is where we are going to be looking at the different deities and mantras in detail. So the next slide, please. So the deity that presides the Swadhisthana chakra is the Brahmadeva and Saraswati. If you've typically seen, they are the gods also responsible for creativity and also nourishing this particular energy center. In terms of like what we have seen throughout in all the sessions, every chakra has a left attribute and a right attribute. Just like the affirmations that we do, they're also based on attributes that we should have and we want to attain by mastering that particular chakra. So similarly, there are deities that are presiding on the left side and on the right side of each chakra, which will help reinforce the energy centers in terms of its strength and also in terms of the vibrations that you feel on your hands and your heads as well as on your chakras. So for example, if somebody is experiencing a little bit of pain on where the Swadhisthana chakra is, or any of the other organs that it is responsible for, then apart from affirmations, it is very, very good to say the mantras with the deities that preside the specific chakra. This, you will find that your chakras will start clearing up and your vibrations will become stronger. So Brahmadeva as well as Saraswati. So most of the chakras actually do have a combination of deities, and it is very important to recognize them. Only and only when you recognize them and you are able to meditate on that, you will be able to actually feel it. Even if you don't understand the deities in detail, as long as you're able to recognize them and recognize Shri Mataji, you will find that these chakras will start responding to it, and also you will feel it on your fingertips. So for the center as well as the right, it is the Himalaya Devata and the Nirmala Chitta. It's also the Chandrama. So these are all deities which will cool down your body. And that is why when you take the mantras of these deities, you will find that your right side will cool down and bring you back into balance. On the left side, you have Nirmal Vidya and you have Shuddha Icha, which are all left side deities, which will all bring in a little bit of warmth and heat into your body, which will balance your body. So as we have known through the sessions that most of these mantras are all derived from Sanskrit. So let's look at the name Nirmala. Nirmala means pure, and Chitta, Chitta, Chitta means attention. So pure attention. Himalaya Devata is the Himalayan range which is there. It is basically recognizing the deity as Himalaya, and Devata means deity. Chandrama again means moon, so the moon deity. So these are all the deities that are responsible for the right hand side. And also Brahmadeva, Saraswati, because the Swadhisthana chakra originates from the right hand side, are also directly responsible for the right hand attributes. The Nirmal Vidya, which means Nirmala means pure, and Vidya means knowledge. Similarly, Shuddha means pure, and Icha means desire. So if you remember, much, much earlier in your sessions when we had the realization, or when you started feeling the energy on your hands, on your head. We started with our right hand on the left side, right at the bottom, where we said that we would want the pure knowledge, right? And now what we are learning is, and in a sense, the pure knowledge. That means the energy that is there within us, and how the energy works, nourishes, and enlightens each energy center. This knowledge of Sahaj Yoga is essentially the pure knowledge or pure desire. The need or want to attain your self realization is essentially your pure desire. So, going further, I will also explain as to how you take the mantra along with each of these deities. For simplicity's sake, right now, it is important to understand that we are going to associate the Swadhisthana chakra with Sri Brahmadeva and Saraswati. It is important to add the word Shri, which means that with respect. Like when you call somebody Her Holiness, in the same way, you have to use the word Shri, which means respect to the deity. So Shri Brahmadeva Saraswati is essentially the main deity that presides the Swadhisthana chakra in our body. Next slide, please. Now let's listen to a short speech from Shri Mataji, where Shri Mataji explains about the Swadhisthana chakra.
Then the second center that we have is very important, which is called as the Swadhisthana. This center looks after physical and our mental activities. Perhaps the doctors don't know that it has a very important work to do, is that it has to nourish the brain with new cells, because all the time the brain is using these cells for its activity. So the energy has to go from this center up there, you can see, and then it nourishes the center, it nourishes the brain through its activity. Now when we are very futuristic, or we are using too much of a brain, I should say, too much of a brain activity we have, we are futuristic, we are planning too much, thinking too much, all the time thoughts and thoughts and thoughts. That time we are using the energy of this center. But this center has another very important thing to be done, that it goes round, as you see, it moves all round here. It's shown here directly, but is connected to the center. And it moves round and round and round and gives energy to this area where we have our liver, our pancreas, our spleen, kidney, and parts of intestines. Now, if we start exhausting ourselves with too much thinking, then the main work of the center suffers, and that's how we develop all these diseases of all these organs. Like, for example, with liver, you develop a liver problem. Liver problem means that liver has a function to emit heat from your body, which is poison, into the bloodstream. But when liver gets upset, we should say, the heat is retained in the liver. It passes upward and downward. When it passes upward, it affects a center there, as you can see, what we call as the right heart, and people develop what we call the disease as asthma. And when it passes downwards, it reaches the kidneys and coagulates, and you get kidney troubles, for which we have to go on dialysis and ultimately to die. So this heat is created because our liver is out of gear. At the same time, this heat can also pass if a person, say, at a very young age drinks and puts in too much of physical efforts and is all the time busy thinking. He might get a very fatal heart attack because this heat can go towards his heart and just collapse it. Also, those people work very hard like that can get a very massive heart attack. But the people who have other problems on the left hand side are different type. They are the people who have lethargic organs. These organs do not work, and when they do not work, then they have all the other problems of the left side, as we call it. And this also causes another serious problem of psychosomatic troubles. Now, the essence of this center is that it is creativity. When the Kundalini nourishes the center, people become extremely creative. Now you have seen these artists who are playing here. They were very simple, ordinary artists, but after coming to SahajaYoga, suddenly they have bloomed so much. The most surprising thing is that people say, even from Switzerland, who do not know a word of Sanskrit, who do not know a word of Hindi language, have composed poems, they have put them to tunes, and they sing as good as these people can sing. It's impossible to believe that even the English, who are so difficult to even pronounce a sentence in Hindi language, are now fluently speaking Sanskrit and talking all these things. Because of this creativity improves you. We have so many artists in India who came to SahajaYoga. I don't know if you know their names or not, like Amjad Ali, Jalota, so many of them. They got their realization, and after that, now today they are very well-known artists. Also the paintings, we have some Australian people who became quite good artists after coming to SahajaYoga. So it gives you a sense of aesthetics, and also it gives you the energy to express yourself. Now, if you have the technique of how to create anything, say you want to make a house, or you want to paint, or if you want to do something, moldings, or anything that you want to do, if you have the technique, the creativity, the power of creativity starts pouring in you, and you start producing things on which you cannot even have thought of, and these things happen to a person. So a person can become extremely dynamic with this. But if with that you do not keep your SahajaYoga practice, means if you do not keep your connection with the divine, then the energy gets exhausted. That's why self-realization is very important for every artist, that he should get his connection with this all-pervading power, which is the combination of all the powers, so that he doesn't feel exhausted with it. Not only that, but all the time this source is flowing into him. Constantly it has to flow, and that's why you have to do little practice of SahajaYoga after getting your realization, as I told you yesterday, that now you don't stop at this point, you have to make the connection perfect. Without the connection, it may be that you may go down. So it's best is to keep your connection on and work it out, to give full respect to yourself, to your being. You are not an ordinary thing. You are not a chicken or something like that. You are a human being. And the beauty that is within you is to be discovered, is to be nourished, and to be proud of. It is such a great thing you have within yourself, the powers, which I'll tell you one by one. Now, about that is the
So now we saw Shrimataji's speech, where Shrimataji explains that now we have felt the energy, we know the affirmations, so we have gotten connected, but now we need to perfect it. And now how we perfect each chakra is only by taking the deity mantras. So I'm going to say the mantra for the Sahasrara chakra once, and after that, I urge you all to repeat again. So I will do this 2 times. The first time I'll read it out. You don't have to necessarily understand or know Sanskrit, like Srimataji just said in her speech. As long as you are able to just read it, keep the attention on your Sahasrara chakra. And if you feel that you're finding it difficult to kind of keep the attention, then you can keep an imagery of Shrimataji in your mind. Or best is, of course, you have to have a photograph of Shrimataji in front of you. When you do that, you will find that it's becoming very, very easy. Initially, you can read this mantra and then slowly you will learn it because it's very easy. As we have learned, it's basically a format where in the red, what you see is what remains constant, just like your left hand moving up. It remains constant for all the mantras. And the only thing that revolves is the deity name. And of course, before the deity name, you have to add a Shri. So it's essentially 2 words that you need to learn for every chakra. So I'm going to say this very slowly so you can follow the pronunciation. And then after, I will do it once more and urge you all, you don't have to unmute if you want, but urge you all to repeat the same. While doing that, you can choose to close your eyes or you can choose to keep your eyes open. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Brahmadeva Saraswati Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devyai Namo Namaha. Now I'll do it once more and urge you all to also read along so that you can hear yourself and pronounce the words. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Brahmadeva Saraswati Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Next slide, please. Now, after reciting this mantra, when we are listening to Srimataji, let's follow her where she, Her Holiness Srimataji clears our Swadhisthana chakra. Please follow whatever Srimataji is asking you to do in this particular video. Keep your attention on the Sahasrara, remain relaxed, and keep your arms open upright.
So, now what is the suggestion? Everyone, still. So I would suggest put your right hand towards me and left hand up. Right hand towards me and left hand up. येऊन राहिला? आवाज कसला येतो?
रेल्वेचं इंजिनचा आवाज
तुमच्या
रेल्वे इंजिन सर टाइमशीर होऊन राहिले.
टाईम सुरू होता.
सगळं विशुद्धी निघून राहिली.
शुद्धी निघते.
संपूर्ण राईट विशुद्धी.
जस्ट डू इट लाईक दॅट. राईट विशुद्धी, राईट. I think put your left hand on your liver. Left hand on your liver. Now just watch me without thinking. And forgive. Forgive everyone. Forgive everyone. Best is to say once Lord's Prayer.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
May God bless you.
So we saw in that particular speech of Shri Mataji, where Shri Mataji clears our Swadhisthana chakra. So if you're having any problems in terms of thoughts that are coming, now when you meditate, let's say, for example, once this session is over, just try on your own to just meditate in front of Shri Mataji's picture, and you will see a lot of difference. So the homework until the next session is that you must experiment and try and see if this is the ultimate truth or not. If what we are telling you or what you are experiencing, in case you're having any doubts, you can see for yourself. So just say the mantra as it is and just see the vibrations. Then you sit in front of Shri Mataji's photograph, put your attention on the Sahasrara chakra. Then slowly bring your attention to the Swadhisthana chakra, now that you know where it is. And now say the mantra that we did together as Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Brahmadeva Saraswati Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. And then you can see the vibrations. So what this will also establish is to what you are experiencing is actually the truth. The next slide, please. Now, right after we've experienced the clearance for the Swadhisthana chakra, now let's just meditate for a minute on Shri Mataji's photograph, and then we can end the session for today. Let's look at Shri Mataji's bindi, or the red dot on her head. And try and see that you don't get any thoughts. Take your attention to the Sahasrara chakra. Keep it there. Keep looking at her forehead. Quieten yourself completely. Keep looking at her forehead. Keep your attention on the Sahasrara chakra. Now, slowly relax. Let's take our bandhan. And then after, if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to see if I can answer them. So let's take the bandhan now, which is very important. As many times as you want, you can take bandhans in a particular day. The more you take, the better you will start feeling the vibrations, and the better you will also protect your kundalini. So the left hand, stationary, going all the way up. First knot. The second knot. And the third knot of 3 knots. Now we take the bandhan 7 times. Was I audible to anybody? Everybody? Okay, so I'm good now. Any questions if anybody has? I'm happy to see if I can address it. If I cannot, I will definitely come back to you guys. Are there any questions that anybody has? Okay, Raj. Thank you for attending today's session. Okay, if there are no more questions, I would just like to leave a note that what we do here in SahajaYoga, when we are now concentrating on every specific chakra, eventually we will also be doing it on a collective level, because right now we are all meditating to understand our kundalini, to understand ourselves on the individual level. But then the bigger aim of, or the bigger mission for all of us to meditate is to meditate collectively. When you do that, you will realize and you will see that your vibrations are multifold, because you can imagine if so many people are sitting together and all the energy centers are open, and there is so much more vibrations that are flowing. So eventually, as we go further in our sessions, you will also see that we will showcase locations where you can come and join and meditate collectively with a larger pool of people and be able to enjoy SahajaYoga better. Of course, when you're joining in your WhatsApp groups or any other communication that you have, you can of course find out more information. That information will be relevantly sent out to you all as we come closer to sessions where you are understanding a little bit more detail about deities and mantras of the other chakras as well. So don't worry too much about it. Just to let you guys know that eventually the end is that, how we are doing right now as a digital collectivity, you will be able to do also in-person collectivity, where you will be able to go and join these sessions in your respective place, whether it's in Malaysia, whether it's in Singapore, or wherever else in the world. There are centers all over the world. So eventually you will be able to join your own specific location or country collectives. With that, I'm going to thank everybody for attending today's session. Hopefully you've had a very restful meditation, and wishing you all a good rest of the day. Until Friday, where you come into the next session and learn about the next chakra. Thank you, and bye-bye. Thank you, Vishal, for helping me with the coordination.